Hi there, my name is Helen Yalbeer. I'm a consecrated woman of Regnum Christi, and I have had the pleasure of serving as a section director for the Young Women section here in Dallas, Texas, for the last 3 years. And it is my delight to talk about how to foster apostolic engagement with Regnum Christi young adults. Another way of saying it is how to launch Regnum Christi apostles. So I'll just dive right into it. Really, my experience has been if people are living out the Regnum Christi charism, then they naturally will have an apostolic heart. So the most important part really is already there. We just really need to help engage others in a meaningful mission. As Regnum Christi, we gather, we form, we launch apostles that evangelize with the RC charism. Like we are called to respond as Regnum Christi. And if this happens well, it will naturally draw out the charism in other people. So some of the things that we'll talk about today is what is an RC apostle and how do I recognize the signs of the charism in others? How do I engage them in a meaningful mission? What does accompaniment look like? So I'll share this through my own experience and by highlighting some Regnum Christi principles of apostolic action. So in Regnum Christi, we are called to contemplate and live the mystery of Christ who goes out to people, reveals the love of his heart to them, gathers them together, forms them as his apostles, and Christian leaders, sends them out and accompanies them. Sound familiar? And all of this to give glory to God and to make the kingdom of Christ present in the hearts of all people and in society. So in Regnum Christi, we're modeling our life after this particular facet of Christ's earthly life, meaning the mystery of Christ the apostle. So like Christ, we gather, we form, and we launch. And in my case in Dallas, I saw this happen over 3 years. We went from 6 young adults serving in 2 apostolates to now, like 4 years later, to 20 Regnum Christi young adult formators leading 9 different apostolates with many other young adults interested in Regnum Christi on their apostolic leadership team. So we gathered, we formed, and we launched. So when I arrived, really it was kind of a challenging time because we had just recovered from a scandal that really rocked the young adult section. All the main leaders had stepped back. And so we thought, well, the first thing is going to be a season of gathering. Let's gather our people. Who are our Regnum Christi young adult members? What does a vibrant young adult section look like? So the first year really was gathering, and we were focused on that apostolic principle of person to person. So another way of saying gather is invite, personally invite. Send that, dear Beth, I would love to have you come to this event tonight. I hope to see you there. And a suggestion would be to really don't invite them to a group thing until you've really met with them one-on-one, because people come because of relationship. So gather them just like Christ, bring them close, love them, listen to them, and notice the signs of the charism in them. Some of the signs of the charism that I've picked up on are really a person who has a deep love for Jesus and a desire to want to grow. A person who has a love for souls, a person who is creative in evangelization, wanting to do something for others, wanting to do something together with others, for others. So really, I invite you to really listen to what's on the heart of others, their desires, their hopes, their dreams. So when we first gathered our Regnum Christi young adults, there was about 6 of them, and we talked about their dreams. And we told them we were launching 2 apostolates. One was a monthly retreat and one was monthly missions. And why were we proposing this? Well, we were trying to respond to real needs that we saw. Those before me, and in this case, Father Ben, had done this by researching and noticing that Dallas had lots of kind of intro to the faith events, but people were asking for opportunities to really go deeper into prayer. And so notice the apostolic principle there that he exercised, adaptation to time and place. So we invited those 6 Regnum Christi young adults into a meaningful mission, something that they knew was a need and that we were responding to it. So what does accompaniment look like at this stage? So we used to have this old apostolic principle, and I don't think it totally always translates well into English, but it was hacer, hacer, and dejar hacer. So in English, I mean, it is do, and let do. So I'll explain that a little bit more. So this stage was the hacer stage, which was really like do it, do the mission, invite them into mission, invite them to see what we do, invite them to be part of something meaningful. So after we gathered, kind of that was really a whole year of just gathering, inviting. So the second year really was form. So at the end of that first year, we had an offsite with our 6 from the leadership team, and we looked back and we said, wow, like look at what we did. This is amazing. And now after a whole year of that, what does a vibrant section look like now? And they were like, well, that was fun. Like, let's do it again and more. And so we signposted and we're like, okay, we think that you're really ready to take on more leadership. So it's time for some good formation. Like, let's go deep in what is Regnum Christi? What is Regnum Christi life? What is your identity as a Regnum Christi leader? And so this is kind of the apostolic principle of formation of formators. And formation, as we know, isn't just about classes and talks, but really bringing them more into the mission, meaning hacer. Teach them and also do it with them. When people are in mission, when you're shoulder to shoulder with them in the mission, that is formation at its best. And now keep in mind, in order to invite people into mission, there actually needs to be a mission or a project or a retreat. You know, maybe at this stage you're just joining one, or maybe you're at a stage where you can start one. If you do have a mission or an apostolate already going on, maybe invite them to take on different roles within the mission. Maybe it's being the retreat promoter. Maybe it's the one giving the talk. Maybe it's the one being the team leader of the small groups. Maybe it's the one exercising their creativity and making the flyers. So remember, it's not just about telling people what to do, but really bringing people to be part of a leadership team. And I never believed this until I experienced it myself, of the fruit of being part of a leadership team. Because deep down, we want to belong. We want to be part of something bigger than ourselves. We want to have role models and be role models for other people. We need to be encouraged. We need that. And I found that people respond more to being believed in than just from being needed. So that year we maintained those 2 main apostolates, the monthly retreat, the monthly missions, but then we took on Holy Week missions. And so this was what I would consider like a high impact event. And they are attractive and they are great for expressing the charism. It takes a lot of work, but it's fruitful because it really draws out other people that might actually have the Regnum Christi charism, because they see us in mission. They see us working together as a spiritual family and as an apostolic body. So then the third year I was in Dallas, it was all about launch and accompany. So it's the dejar hacer. It's the let them do it. And it's beautiful to see, like, when they're in the stage of really being ready to be launched, because we see love is creative. So when the charism is alive and it's nurtured in a person, this will generate new ideas that really respond to the needs that these young adults see around them, because they've had the experience of being apostles and now they're ready to take the lead. So this would be our apostolic principle of leadership, as well as organized and effective apostolate. So now our 6 were on fire, and more people were asking, like, wait, what is Regnum Christi? Wait. So we started inviting people to be part of mission teams, these leadership teams. And it really wasn't just about getting the job done. It was an experience. It was an opportunity for them to experience the Regnum Christi charism in its fullness. It was an experience of belonging. It was about creating a chance for them to really grow their missionary heart. I remember a quote from Deacon Keating, James Keating. He's one of my favorite lay deacons, permanent deacons. And he just says, remember that we don't mission from a place of a need to fulfill something inside of ourselves, but we truly mission from a place of self-gift and pouring out. So in this dejar hacer and seeing them fly, it's because they've actually been poured into and they go from a fullness of heart. So I assure you, leadership teams work. They in and of themselves are so fruitful. So once we started forming these different leadership teams, we exploded with more apostolates. So we formed a team for Holy Week missions. We formed a team for our youth programs in ECYD. We formed a team for a sports club. We formed a team for our Altius hiking group. Additionally, one of the things that really helped was we ran a course called Discover Your Personal Mission. And that generated this amazing apostolic fire and 2 other young adult apostolates. So one of them was an evening of prayer and praise for young women, introducing them to Jesus as bridegroom. And it was beautiful. It was some new Regnum Christi young adults that had just associated, and they're like, we want to accompany and we want to talk to other young adults about Jesus the bridegroom. And then from there, we also had a whole weekend retreat dedicated to that theme. So beautiful. So what does accompaniment look like at this stage? So when you're in the launch stage, launch doesn't mean delegate. It's really helping them support their mission team or their leadership team. It's kind of being that like right-hand hidden person, helping them prepare their agenda so that the members on the team can feel like known, and that they have missions within the team that are meaningful and that they're aligned with their skill sets. So really, really beautiful things that came about from that. And then maybe just some practical tools for supporting an apostolic initiative. So as I said, we did this course called Discover Your Personal Mission. It was a 6-week course. And this generated something that the girls wanted to do. They wanted to run this weekend retreat. So we just said, okay, let's pick a date and let's work towards it. Let's, secure a location. Let's get a flyer. Let's send it out through the channels that we know. Let's create a little budget. Let's make a plan, get materials, invite people. So, and then we made it happen. And I was thinking to myself, if people can plan weddings, they can plan a retreat. There's a lot of similarities there. And it doesn't have to be a whole weekend retreat. It could even be a simple mission day where it's like, hey, on this date, at this time, we're going to meet and we're going to go and encounter the homeless. And we're going to pray at the beginning and we're going to do like highs and lows at the end. So when we're living the Regnum Christi charism, when young adults are living this our Regnum Christi charism, it will generate and it will spark the fire in other people. I promise you, I've seen it happen over and over and over again. More will ask, what is Regnum Christi? So in that regard, then new people start coming in, and then we begin the process over again. We gather, we form, and we launch. So over the course of Christ's 3 years of public ministry, he worked with 12 apostles, right? So when we think about our own ministry, we don't need to be working with 500 in order to be successful. Like, let's be like the master. So who are your 12? Not even that. Let's just say this first year, who are your 2 people? Like, work with them, like invite them in, learn what's on their heart, invite them into mission, or invite them into starting a mission. Know that this does take time. It can take years. Every step can take a year, honestly, or more. And I just encourage you to really let it grow organically, and soon you will have your 72 disciples and more. So I thank you so much for listening. I really understand that this is my own experience of really trying to foster apostolic engagement. And I really hope that this was helpful in some way, to give you the confidence to know that our Regnum Christi charism is real, it's alive, and it is generating amazing apostles for the kingdom, for the church, and that is really changing culture. So thank you so much, and God bless you.